weight loss, and wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tuesday.
Oh my gosh,
Yay.
it's Tuesday. Yay for Tuesday.
Yes.
It's messed me up this time. Typically, I'm like right on it, and I'm like, Monday, because Monday's my busy client day.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, it's a little bit lighter than Wednesday's a little bit lighter. I wasn't ready for it today. I'm like, I was still in Memorial Day mode.
Yes. I had a moment to wake up. I had a client before here, and I was like, sorry, I'm still sleepy for some reason, but
I know. It's crazy. What'd you do? What'd you do over the weekend?
Well, we hung out with our besties. We played games, and we were trying to go canoeing or kayaking. And then there was like this terrible storm that we would have been caught in had we gone. So then we tried going to the pool yesterday, and it was just very cold. So we didn't get to do anything outside of the house.
Yeah.
But we grilled out and
nice.
played games and just hung out. How about you? You had an anniversary of 29.
29.
Look at that.
29, yeah.
29's a good number.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And then we did a birthday party the same weekend, and I always forget. I didn't even know what day it was yesterday. Like, I was just completely messed up when it came to where are we, what day? So we had Sarah's birthday party, had some friends over on Sunday, had a great morning at church, and it was nice. I love breaks. God made us stop for a little bit.
Yes.
And we're so thankful for those who gave their life for this country.
Absolutely.
I always want to quit. I always see this world and gosh, it's like, help us.
Come back.
Freedom, liberty, help, don't go away. And I always want to quit because it's such a dark area to work in. I worked in it for 25 years and became really unhealthy because of it. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but I think about it. I think about the freedoms we're losing. I think about all of that. And then I look at the picture of our Grampy and I'm like, I can't be quiet. It's really our kids' generation's turn to fight for this country and keep it free. Yes. But I'm not seeing them around. I'm like, I don't know where they are, but they're
still there. There's hope. Like they are still there. Don't worry. We're so, you know what, social media.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be the thing that will be like, crap, we just lost our freedom for them, for that generation? What do you think it's going to be? What are they going to lose? Something to think about.
It is something to think about. I think there's some dangers that, are coming about that we probably
they're starting to have kids.
Speech.
Yeah. They're starting to have kids, and they're starting to see life through the viewpoint of who's hurting my kids. So maybe they're kids. I mean,
maybe that would. But listen, I have high hopes for this next generation. I am, and because I see it. I see it every day.
You're in the front lines.
I don't see it on the social media because the social media is brainwashing them.
Yes.
But what's happening behind the scenes is pretty powerful. I'm excited for them. So
even in my generation, I don't know if you watch TikTok at all, but I'm over there, and they had a thing that Generation X is kind of waking up, which it's a little too late.
A little too late.
You guys are working hard, y'all. I don't know what you were doing, getting drunk, whatever you were doing. Jeez.
Yeah, y'all had those kids that were
we
like,
raised the kids that were wondering where they are. It's our fault. We gave them everything they wanted. Although my son would disagree. He didn't get to go to church camp. He's very bitter about that.
He should be bitter about that.
We were poor. We were poor as church mice when we were raising him.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Well, it's all right.
I'll pay for his therapy.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness, you know. So you never.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, no, not asking for permission.
No, because I already ruined his life.
As parents, we're not taught how to raise kids. Like that's not a part of our
No,
schooling. So we're
no.
doing the best we can.
And the poor firstborn, my gosh,
Yeah, you
I'm
guys.
automatically just funneling money into his therapy account and just saying, I know what you're going to tell the therapist. I'm just going to come in and say it's true and I'm sorry.
Yes. Anyway, yes, it's fine.
Then-
We're all gonna make it.
Yeah. Then you get to the last one, who's spoiled rotten.
We're very wise.
I don't have
because
any
we watched
teenagers.
all the mistakes
I know.
that the older ones
You
made.
are the last one. You and Sarah would relate a lot.
You just pointed a finger at me, so
Oh my goodness. I love the last one because if you graded my parenting right now with no other things, I think I might get an A minus.
Okay.
The minus being the church camp ordeal.
You got some good kids.
Another thing I did?
You
know another thing I did?
What you do?
When my kids were dating, they had to have chaperones. I was thanked for that. So don't knock it until you try it.
Yes.
And they ended up with beautiful wives. I love their wives.
Yes.
So,
they're amazing.
Yes.
I did get to see one of those wives this weekend too. So it's
Wait a minute. You did?
yeah. It was
Did they
anyway.
stop
That's
by your
long.
house?
That's what. Yeah,
They
they did.
didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it's a spur of the moment thing. It was not like she didn't even know.
Apparently, the mother wasn't invited.
Well, no, like it was like when I say it was a spur of the moment thing, it was like they drove out of their way to go hang out with Uncle, and so
it's just so good. See, that just is parenting. Parenting success right there.
Yes.
Hey guys, we are so excited to be here today. We are winding it up. So 2 days left of our carnivore challenge. 2 days left. And so we're just going to talk about everything carnivore today. We are ketogenic coaches, okay?
Yes.
So we just took a little bit of a U-turn in our own personal journeys. This whole thing started, this 30-day challenge started when I was on vacation. And I just was really hurting. Like my joints were hurting and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And, I haven't cheated, but I had gotten a little bit loose. I had brought in some of those seed oils, which number one, I think that is the number one cause of it.
Yes, it is.
I had brought in some, some of the dressings and some of those seed oils and, I'd had a glass of wine here or there, or, I had just got a little bit loose. And so my friend Alex was like, hey, and he was going through the same thing. And he's like, hey, would you be willing to run a challenge? Which, by the way, Alex, you have been MIA through this challenge, but thank you for challenging me to do this because it changed my life. I owe you big, dude. Call out to Alex.
No, it's a call out.
He's a keto coach in Hawaii. I just adore him. Where'd you go, Alex? So yeah, it was like a big personal challenge to me. And so after we got back from vacation, I said, hey, Coach Darcy, I have an idea. And you're like, oh no.
I already braced myself. I already said it. I knew when you go on vacation, that's what happens. So I braced myself.
Thinking. When my brain shuts down a little bit and I can breathe a little bit, I have the
it goes on double
ideas.
time.
Yeah. But the thing of it is I already had the program written by the time I got home. So I was able to write it, to do it. And we gathered 150 of our friends and went on this journey. Awesome. 30 days, May 1st. And we are winding this thing up. And so we're just going to talk about our personal lives. We have our final closing session with our group. And we're going to kind of give them the direction because there's a roadmap. If you're transitioning away from carnivore into a more keto lifestyle, there is a transition you're going to have to make and some more things that you're going to, everybody thinks, oh, well, that's going to be easy. I'm just going to add veggies in. And that is not how it works because you deal with things like leptin and ghrelin and all of these things that come into play, especially if you wrestle with food addiction. And so it's not just I'm gonna eat more veggies. It's how are we going to strategically do this, especially if you've been on the therapeutic carnivore side and doing this for your health, because we want you to put things back in very, very strategically. So tonight we're having our closing session with our group. And I thought you and I just would talk about what we have found, the things that we've loved, the things that we have not loved so much, and answer any questions. So please drop your comments and your questions into if you have been a part of this journey, and you've lost weight, you've lost inches. We want you to share your stories in the comments. And if you find this I was going to say podcast, this live, interesting, and you find it might help your friends and family, would you share it with your friends? So let's talk about, well, how should we start, Darcy? Do we want to talk? Let's talk about what we've done. Okay. The version of Carnivore that we chose, because everybody's on a different version. There's the most strictest version, which is called the Lion. And we have a couple of clients who have chosen that route, including our mom. She chose the Lion route, which is very, very difficult. That's nose to tail.
Yes.
Nose to tail.
I was surprised. Yes.
Yes. I was surprised. Yeah.
I know.
Then there's more of then there's ones who bring in eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's ones who bring in a little bit of dairy-like condiments. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the lane that I chose. And then there's more of the dirty carnivore where they bring in some sweeteners. Mm-hmm. And then you get more into the ketovore. Okay.
Yeah.
So, inflammatory. Oh gosh, Shannon, let me show your comment, because this is so true. Inflammatory veggies, and those are your nightshades. A lot of the ones also with the starches in there hurt a lot after carnivore. So you will immediately feel what you have been free from for the last 30 days if you decide to go down this route. You'll definitely feel it. And that's why we don't want you just to jump in the deep end and add all of the things back in, because you're not going to know what was hurting your body.
Right.
So, Darcy,
yes.
talk about what you loved. Let's talk about the positive side, and then we're going to tell you what we didn't like too.
Okay.
Tell us what you did, what your lane was, and what you loved about it.
So the lane that I chose was more so a carnivore that added pepper. I had pepper.
Mm-hmm. That was
I did
another
the nose to tail. Like, I did not do spices. It was just whatever we did was salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. I think there may have been one day on our anniversary we had a meat. Who knows what they made it. So that was the 80-20 mindset day. Mm-hmm. So we had one day of where we didn't have control of that. Mm-hmm. Definitely chose dairy as more of like an additive, not an additive, but like a side.
Yeah.
Like a condiment. Like, mm-hmm. Yeah. Or just we'd have a piece of cheese on our eggs some mm-hmm. days. But we mainly focused on simplicity. Mm-hmm. Eggs. We did eggs and all the meats with salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. And then the only sweetener that I had was in my element and my electrolytes. And I did have carnivore ice cream two or three times. Yep. That was it. So it was very minimal. So after all, that was what I was doing. And when I continue, because I will be continuing.
Wait, what did you like about that?
It was really challenging.
You did. You were pretty miserable?
I don't know if I was miserable. It was. I don't know how I really felt emotionally about that. I think there was days where I definitely struggled, and then there was days where we fried up some chicken wings and drums in the air fryer with salt and pepper, and it was delicious. Like that's the thing that was amazing. So
you had ups and downs.
Yeah, it was. There was some ups and downs from it. There was like chicken. I don't like plain chicken. Like I don't like it grilled. I don't like it. Like it was just really
green eggs and ham.
Yeah, I do not like it. And then it was a struggle. I definitely needed to do the mixture of different types of protein in one setting. I could not just do chicken. I could not just do bacon. I could not. I had to have other things hand in hand, or else I was not, like, my mindset, I was not satisfied.
Yeah.
After I did that, things changed for the better. So I definitely.
That did for me too. And that was because that one Monday morning I had a really bad oxalate dump, and, just the whole dumping of the poisons that the veggies bring. And that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. And you had said, I think it was on one of these calls, you had said, put a couple of different kinds of protein on your plate.
Yes.
So yeah, that was
Very
very,
important.
very good advice. Light to heavy kind of thing. So I don't know how, the people that just do beef do it. Who is
It's
that one woman? Remember the one woman in the dad and the daughter? She's blonde, and I wish I knew her name. But anyway, it saved her life.
I don't know.
They
That's the
are
lion. That's the
they
lion
did the lion,
carnivore.
and it
Yeah.
literally she
That's
was almost dead with these autoimmune issues,
mm,
and so she went in seriously, and she was like, and she healed herself,
yeah.
literally healed herself, but she
Yeah.
did it with just beef.
Yeah.
So yeah. Patty asks, how were your calories counted then? That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is what makes me nervous when we start to lose our 150 friends on this, because to be honest with you, we didn't count anything. This was
Nope.
the first time in 7 years that I have not counted macros. Now, a lot of people, this is where a lot of people are lost on carnivore, because that first time when you start to eat, number one, you're trying to figure out where you find your footing when it comes to eating all of this stuff, and oh yeah, I can eat bacon unlimited, and you do at first, and then you start to put on weight on the scale, and that's when people quit. When they don't realize what happens is you naturally fall into your own pattern, and you
Mm-hmm.
naturally just don't overeat. And I had
Yeah.
done this when Dr. Barry mentioned and was starting to talk about carnivore and the fact that you don't need to track. I'm like, I don't believe that.
Right.
And I did start to gain weight when I tried it. Well, that was the problem, is I quit too soon. So this was the first time in 7 years. And I'm going to say, I'm going to put this in the plus side for my journey, is I don't have to track because I naturally don't overeat.
Mm-hmm.
And I naturally, and we got nervous. Coach Darcy and I got nervous with these 150 people we're leading, because we're like, macros, we are macro coaches.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
messaged Dr. Barry and I said, hey, would you mind answering this question? Is there any such thing as metabolic adaptation with carnivore? Is there any, can these people adapt their metabolism to where they, because I was struggling to get 1,000 calories, honestly.
Right.
And he said, no, when you are on the proper human diet, your body has all of these mechanisms to kick in and fight that metabolic adaptation. It's just natural. And so no, Patty, we did not count our calories. My total loss on the scale for this 30 days was 9 pounds. And that is not a lot in the significant terms, but when you come down to 2 years, in my particular case, 2 years of not being able to budge the scale at all, that was huge for me, because, and Darcy watched my struggle throughout the last couple of years, because we tried fasting, we tried, we tried all of the things,
The cyclical stuff.
we tried it.
Yeah.
Nothing would budge that scale. And this is just my story. This particular journey I was on, when I hit a low, I hit a low. Like, and there was no, I would go up a pound or two. My nose is itching this morning. I think it's that cottonwood out there that is just flying around.
It's a lot.
But yeah, when my scale went down, it stayed down, and it has not had any spikes. And so I lost 9 pounds after 2 years of not being able to move that scale. So that was on the plus side for me. And the other plus side and the scary side for me being a macro coach is that I didn't have to track.
Right.
And that was like, I'm like, are we okay, Darcy? Are we okay? I'm not tracking this ribeye. And so it really was a scary journey for me after tracking for 7 years. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the warning. Here's the warning. If you are in this carnivore group and you've done this and you are going off the plan and you are going into a more ketovore, you will have to start tracking. Because what's going to happen is you're going to reawaken some of those things that have been sleeping, the leptin hormone. You're going to awaken the ghrelin. You're going to awaken those triggers when you bring in those sweeteners, and when you bring in even a berry, you're going to wake up those things that have been quiet for so long and have made you feel full. And so you will have to start tracking, because it is possible for you to gain weight if you do not track your macros. And so that's a big warning to those whoever's on this and is going to divert on their own. Track your macros, find out what your deficit is, and you may need a reverse diet. You may need to bump up those calories very carefully, because you may not have been able to eat a lot on the carnivore diet. And so if you go from that to a normal bringing in the berries, bringing in the insulin spikes again, you may have to do a reverse diet. So just be careful. If you are just planning on going on your own on this, be very careful.
Right. I want to add on what you just said. Would be, when doing this lifestyle and not tracking, your what we call food noise goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So the struggle of getting your fats and your proteins in is not necessarily going to be an issue as long as you are being intentional with what you are eating. So no, just eating pepperoni slices and cheese and then you're full, that is not a good choice.
Mm-mm.
Not a good choice at all. You
No.
want to fuel your body with the correct fueling in order to be able to listen to what your gut says.
Right.
In the morning, like if you're not hungry, don't eat breakfast right away. Push it off until your stomach speaks to you, and then you are able to fill your gut with the proper food to fuel it, get your calories in for that moment and your fats in. You're being intentional with adding fats on top of your protein so it's a balanced. And then you move along with life in your day, and then the next meal might be dinner time. And you're not snacking. That is the most important thing. You're not snacking in between.
Yeah.
You're not just eating all the time. You're not doing little tidbits like we're little mice. We're eating like it counts, like it matters.
One of the things that I've been able to do for the first time in my journey, and you and I are both certified fasting coaches, and we are getting our certification in fasting like a girl, so that we know and we teach our women how to eat around their hormones. Even though we are certified fasting coaches, doesn't mean we like it, and does not mean that we have a handle on it. I struggle with an eating disorder. I struggle with binge eating, and so when I think about fasting, I get some of those triggers back. I get some of those feelings of when I would hide in the closet and eat a Snickers bar again. I get some of those hangry, I want to eat it all right now feelings and shove it in my mouth. Gary, it's so good to see you back. I'm so
Is
happy.
he back?
He's back. Yeah, he just said good morning. Oh, and Patty asked, am I wrong to be happy with my weight not moving up or down? You are perfect. And live in that space as long as you can. And I don't care if it's forever. Live in that space because you are experiencing what I call peace. Live there.
Yeah.
Don't try to do anything. You can just rest. When you are healthy and you are eating whole foods, you can rest. Even if you're on the weight loss portion, you can also rest in that, knowing that what you're putting in your body is what Coach Darcy said. It's fuel. And so when you find moments of peace like that, sit there and rest. Hold on to that space for just a little bit, because you're not going to stay there forever. You're going to want to do something extra. You're going to want to start to build. It's just natural. Number one, it's ketones working. But you're going to want to progress. But stay there as long as you can. So what I was saying, Darce, what was I saying? We were talking about
fasting.
Fasting.
Going into.
So I'm not a good faster. And I'm very, very careful and very cautious. And when I bring my clientele into the fasting world, I always have that little space of binge talking to me, because I know if I experienced binge eating or if I hated fasting, I'm not the only one.
Right.
So we take them down that road very cautiously. And we're really excited about this last certification that we're getting. And Darcy's going to talk about a little bit about what she's going to do with that in mixing it with a carnivore, which I'm just super excited about. But this journey for the last 30 days, I figured I have experienced, like Patty said, peace. And I've experienced the fact that I am not, Mike, squirrel. So when will you announce your fasting challenge?
The boys are on.
The boys are ready to do it.
Let's go.
This is the first time I've been able to fast naturally.
Yeah.
I truly am not hungry, and I am not, even the boredom eating is gone for me. That is the super thing. That's like, wow. Between clients, my tendency was to go to the kitchen I ate the right foods. I ate keto foods and all of that. But it was to go to the kitchen because that's the thing we do. It's emotional eating, right? This has stopped that. And this has literally quieted my mind. The first session we had with our 150 folks, the first session we had, some lady spoke up and she said, there is nothing screaming in my head anymore. My head is quiet.
It's quiet.
That, I think, is the number one thing that I have loved in this journey. I'm excited about the 9 pounds. It just,
Oh, it's just a bonus.
It was just a bonus.
Yeah.
My head is quiet. I can think clearly. And that is what I am so grateful about. That would probably be my favorite thing about Carnivore.
Right.
I
mean, there's supplements out there that can help you have a, cleared mind. And it's more of, when I'm eating supplements, it's more about fueling my brain with the nutrients that it needs. But this has made it more clear. It's made it more. Now there are moments during my day where it's not working.
Well, you have little children.
Got little kids. I'm going based off of a weekend that didn't get a whole good night's sleep. Like Mark and I go to bed at 8:30 anymore, so we're old farts, and that doesn't make you old. Going to bed early.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but we are just being able to, like, all the books that we've read during this period of time, and we've retained what we've read. Like, that is the spark that just makes you want to continue on.
Yeah. You take organ meats, don't you? Do you take paleo values? Yeah. Do you like those?
I do. I really do.
Do you feel a difference?
I do. This weekend, I didn't take my vitamins that I like, my organ meats. I didn't have my iodine, things like that. And I just felt it. Like, my mood completely dropped. And then there was, some other things that my mood completely dropped. Yeah. And then after I took my vitamins, things were a little bit cleared up. And I was like, okay, I was in a bad space. Like, that was also, like, I was not eating. I could tell the difference of my mood and my spirit.
Oh yeah.
And per se, when I did not eat intentional. Like, I just had, it was just a meal. So we grilled things on the grill, and we were not intentional about adding fats. We weren't intentional about making sure we were fueled up for breakfast like we normally are. And I could just see the difference for myself. So yeah. It's important. By
the way, Mike and Gary are both on. They're both back, and they bring the testosterone to our weight loss group. There are 2 new guys coming. Just so you know, boys, there are 2 new guys. We're going to welcome them this week. So we may have to
be nice.
control the testosterone now. And
Oh my gosh, Gary!
It's a miracle.
He's been on vacation way too long.
You're gonna have to hone that guy.
It's time
in.
to get back to work.
Hone him in. If I were you, I'd put him on a massive detox. I would go like,
we are. He knows it.
Yeah. Well, it is true, and I love. Here's another thing I love. Dr. Berry says, I study a lot of Dr. Berry. By the way, we're going to your concert. Dr. Berry. Apparently you're singing. The coach and I just got tickets to your conference. Pretty darn excited about that. So we're taking a road trip in August to come see Dr. Berry.
Oh, my word.
We expect a song. I know his wife sings. His wife sings,
so maybe it's more of a Nisha concert.
But we're coming to your concert in August. But one of the things I appreciated that he said was drop all supplements. Yeah. Drop everything and then add them back. And that's what I love, because sometimes you feel good and you're like, why do I feel good? And you don't know, okay, this is the organ meats. This is something, one of the things that I had forgotten that I had kind of phased out, that when I wiped all of my supplements out and put back in, thanks to you, Darcy, is the iodine. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, the iodine makes me feel like I could run around the block, and I had been missing that. And so that's all I'm taking at this point, because I had wiped everything out. So I'm taking iodine, and I'm taking bromine. That's the only 2 things I'm taking.
Yeah, the iodine is like that is one nutrient that our body does not make, but our hormones need it.
Our thyroid
need it.
probably if people took the iodine, they'd be off all of their thyroid medication, is my guess. And it'll be interesting because now that I picked that up, I do take 60 milligrams of Armor. And I am really curious to see what my blood panel will look like this next time that I go and see Courtney. So, so I loved that. I loved the clear mind. That in and of itself. I remember coming home from your house. No, Sherry's house, our other sister's house. I remember.
We have another sister. She's
gonna
amazing.
Come on here sometime and teach Zumba.
We're gonna do Zumba.
We're gonna zip her right in. But she had a whole spread out for us that day that we were at her house, and it was all keto. Everything on that was keto. She had berries, she had veggies, she had, even the chips. She had all of it out there, and we were stuck over to her chicken drumsticks, and
really
the pork was really good,
really
and
good.
the hamburger, and we didn't go off playing that day. At least I didn't see you go off playing that day. I did
not. I did not.
And
I had a lot of chicken.
Yeah, a lot of chicken. It was really good chicken.
It was really good chicken.
But when I got home and I just felt so good, I just thought there's no substitute for that for me.
Mm-mm.
Like berries or good mental health. Like, there was just no substitute for that clear mind and for the peace that I that I was feeling. So I just loved what it did to and the reason why I started was because I was hurting, right? My joints were hurting. I was just achy, and that's all gone, completely gone. So my plan is I'm going to go another 30 days. I got a Ninja Creamy, and before we started all of this, and so I have a recipe that is a carnivore ice cream recipe that brings in just a little bit of vanilla extract. And I may use a little bit of allulose, but I am going to be going away from stevia generally, just with what we have studied, with what you and I have studied about stevia. I'm going to be going away from that, and obviously the sucralose, all of those things, and I'm going to really bring in a natural form. So that's kind of what, and I created the recipe. I made the recipe, carnivore ice cream. It was amazingly good. And I was satisfied. I'm like, this would make me content and make me feel like I'm a part of, just bringing something random in and bringing something really yummy if I get sick. So that's kind of sick of me. So that's kind of the direction that I'm going. I am really still kind of struggling with the sauces and maybe the seasonings. I'm not sure what to do about that. I'll probably seek your advice as a coach on that one, on what I should do. Definitely not the seed oils, and a lot of those seed oils are in the sauces. But that's kind of where I'm questioning, what do I do? And perhaps it's trying it and seeing if I feel any different. I don't know. Right.
Yes. So for me, I intend this next month, I intend to continue because I do enjoy having the scale move for the first time in a really long time. It's not a lot, but it's a good amount. It's enough for me. Like that's where I am. And so I've been able to deal with, almost a year's worth of doing the fasting like the girl, kind of cyclical kind of lifestyle for my cycle. For me, that was good. Like I felt the best I ever have on my cycle. So for example, you ladies that know that your cycle's coming and you feel bloated and gross, you don't have that. That goes away. Like you don't, it's now not completely 100% because on the day of things will be like awakening and it's fine, but it's not as nearly as bad as what it typically is. Like the bloating for a week, having these hankerings for food and irritable. Now irritable, I'm still trying to work on that one. It might be because I either have my boys or just life in general. That just might be a natural thing, irritability. Just that, I don't know if that goes away.
Life. Because
we've been doing that for a year now. But it's a lot better. And so then this is the first time I've not followed that. And this time, like, didn't even know that she was here. just kind of showed up.
Crazy.
So what I plan on doing from here on out, to see what works it even better, to kind of add in the carnivore world and the ageless keto world, is going to be, focusing 100% on carnivore. I'll add some seasonings in for flavor. I'm going to look at the low toxicity level on some of these seasonings, making sure that I'm focused on that, but then kind of going a little bit more ketovore, adding more carbs than what I'm used to having during
Let me
those.
stop you right there and explain what she's talking about.
Yes.
So,
Sorry.
So our women have four different parts of their cycle. Okay. And so we teach this to our ladies who are on what's called our ageless keto. So the first 10 days is your power phase. Your first 10 days is when your body is creating and building estrogen.
The beast mode.
Building. That's its only job, is to build estrogen, because it's got to get your body ready to ovulate. Okay. And so estrogen hates carbs. Yeah. Estrogen and carbs are enemies. So during the power phase, you can be a beast. Like, you can go into your fasting, you can go into zero carbs. So this is when Darcy will be carnivore. This is, you could even do nose to tail at this point. Like, you could get super, super strict. You could do whatever you want for 10 days. Then you bring in the ovulation phase, and your body is number one, it's building estrogen still, and then it's building progesterone. And you've got that marriage between progesterone and estrogen. And this is why
I'm pretty sure
sexy.
Testosterone shows up too.
Everything is right there during that magical week. Yeah. Like, you feel beautiful. You feel like Superwoman. And this is because this is when you procreate, right? Yeah. This is the time of the month where you procreate. And so all of those things are needed, right? So we build in those hormone feeding foods. You want to build in the progesterone feeding foods. You want to, well as those. So you get more carbs during that time, right? Yep. And then there is 2 weeks before your cycle. There's 2 weeks before your cycle, and there's one more power phase right after that, ovulation time. And then there's the 2 weeks before, which in the old times, we used to starve our bodies and say, suck it up, buttercup. You don't need any chocolate.
Or binge eat. And the complete opposite, where you're giving into all those cravings because you're moody and don't care about anything. And you feel terrible about yourself anyway, so why not feed into the terribleness?
Exactly. So you go hot or cold. You're like, suck it up. And so what we do there, when your body is building progesterone, which is the hormone that says everything is fine, the world is not on fire, everything is fine. When you're building progesterone, your body loves carbs. That's when you bring in the carb, and that's when Darcy's going to experiment with
more of a ketovore type of lifestyle.
Raise the carbs, right?
But not a whole lot. I think what will happen, and I'm not fasting. I'm not going to, like, I'm fasting because I'm making my meals purposeful, like where I'm fueling my body at certain times. I am making and being intentional, and then I'll probably focus on how I'm eating the food too. Like, you guys might think, oh, this sounds very complex and stupid, but is so worth it. Like, I'm going to focus on eating my proteins and fats first, and then top it off with a little bit of carbs.
Some carbs, yeah,
meaning like broccoli, or meaning berries, meaning keto type of carbs. So that's my intention.
Really cool.
So
I'm excited.
Here's my other thing that I noticed.
That you journal. I want you to journal everything.
Okay. But based on this month, like, I need to journal up what happened this month, because there was a major difference even with my gym experience. Like, I felt like a beast in the gym. It didn't even matter if it was a week before. I was still able to have the energy. When you go to the gym, you just like, I feel like I needed I lifted 15 pounds yesterday. Why can't I do it today? What's the difference? Well, I didn't have that at all this month.
Me neither.
And I felt like I was able to just my muscles were being fed and they enjoyed it. So that's kind of where I could see that this could work.
Yeah. It'd be interesting when we go see Dr. Barry
At his
when
concert.
we go see him sing this,
Maybe we
this
need
month.
a concert.
That would be a question that I would have for him
Yeah.
because, he is a physician,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And understands all of those cycles for women. And it'd be interesting to find that is that needed once you're on carnivore. I don't
Right.
know. And this is what you're going to experience when you try to kind of go more hormone feeding during those times of the month. And people ask me, what if I'm in menopause? What if I'm in menopause? And we work the program with our menopause women too. We go based on the moon cycles.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing is just, it's a beautiful symphony of mixing hormones, building hormones. When you get to a certain age, you don't make estrogen, you don't make estradiol, and so you've got to supplement that. That's why it's so fascinating to watch what's happening to our women. Here's another thing. One of the things, Darcy, that we're getting feedback from some of our clients, and I did not tell you this story yet. It was
why not?
It was a story that, and you'll know what I'm talking about when,
Okay.
because you messaged me and said the scale is an issue right here with a client, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I had this client. I had her go measure. The scale wasn't moving for this client who's on carnivore. I asked her to go measure. She's over 2 and 3 inches down in her body. And so
Dang, just throw them scales out.
throw the dang scales out.
What?
That is exactly what happens on carnivore, is because you are putting protein that your body wants. Your muscles are building, which is causing the scale to go up, but your clothes are falling off.
Get yourself a belt, throw the scale away.
Throw the
Boom.
dang scale away. So that's what happens on carnivore. Your body shrinks. And here's the other thing. The first 30 days is completely healing. If you go into carnivore looking at this is healing my body versus this is messing with the scale, the scale will eventually follow. And this is why I have failed at carnivore. I've tried carnivore before for a week.
It worked.
And that's why, because I quit, because I didn't see instant results on the scale. Well, your body is literally healing. It's reversing type 2 diabetes. It's reversing PCOS. It's reversing your high blood sugar, your blood pressure. It's reversing all of these diseases quietly inside, and the scale eventually will follow.
Yeah.
So it's building your muscle. That scale will eventually. So if you focus on healing first, you heard me, didn't you, girl? I got the stars from that particular client there. I'm so dang proud of you.
That's awesome.
So yeah, when you focus on healing first, the scale will follow.
Yeah.
Just throw the scales in the trash.
Yeah.
Because, unless you're overeating, it is probably possible for you to overeat.
Might be.
Who knows? And then that's why Dr. Barry says, give us 90 days. Give this thing 90 days of a full clean keto. Well, a lot of people haven't seen the scale move. I could say, hey, the scale's not moved more than 9 pounds. I should quit. And, they quit right before victory.
Yeah.
Right before victory. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
So I'm excited for what you will find. And I'm not joking about journaling. Notate everything, because you're kind of going on this uncharted water territory where you're going to follow your cycle. But you're going to do it carnivore style.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what will happen.
Listen, I think
Linda.
I feel like fasting is great. I love fasting for the purpose of autophagy, cleaning up your body cells, diving deeper. But I think it's not like a month to month. Some people love it. And I think if they find their thing and they love it, then go with it.
Go for it.
For me, I love eating. So you can do this, but also you're going to fill your tummy up to the point where you're not going to want to eat that food noise. Let me tell you, when I say that the ghrelin and the leptin button for me was broken. And so this month, I noticed that I actually had an off button.
Yeah.
It was working and the
that.
food noise went away, and I was able to go long periods of time without having to think about food or want food because I fueled it in a proper way.
This is what people are paying thousands of dollars a month
Exactly. Through
free.
pills, through shots, through all this nonsense. And it comes down to the fact that God created this food on this earth for us to fuel it with. And We're not
I
utilizing
kind of
it.
upset the medical portion. Did you see that on my Facebook?
I
Oh,
did
somebody got
not.
very offended that I said that the shots were medical anorexia. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not
No,
sorry at
I'm
all.
not sorry. I am with you on that. I am usually not like hard. Like I get on soapboxes a lot, but not like a controversial one. I would get on that one because let's face it, people are.
Yeah.
It's
starving
exactly
themselves.
like that. It is
Yeah.
exactly. I saw portions of somebody's plate versus their husband's plate on one of these photos. It was like this size amount of different foods. Tell me that's going to fuel you.
No.
It's not.
It's
Anyway,
not.
that is starvation.
I know. Not even sorry about it.
No, I'm not.
Sorry about that comment
That
that
one.
I made. Yeah. But, you know, the medical people don't want people to know about this because they lose money. They lose money when people start to say, "Oh, there's a natural way to do this."
By
I didn't
golly.
know. I don't need to spend $1,300 on a shot.
You could spend $13 on a steak.
Exactly. Yeah. I tried something because I was to the point where I'm like, man, I'm never hungry. And the thought I was getting that, what did you call that one time when the thought of meat just made you sick? I'm like, oh, I got to eat some more meat. I just can't. The fact of the matter is, I just remember you saying, oh, I don't want to eat any more meat.
Yes.
Well, you do actually want the meat when you're hungry.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is you just weren't hungry.
You were just
When you are hungry, that beef and butter looks really good.
Yes.
The problem is we have just said, well, it's noontime. It's time to go eat. So I'm going to go eat. And you're not hungry because part of it is, you know, the factor, the thermal effect of food. Your body, it takes longer to process the protein. So you're still processing that protein while you're trying to feed yourself more and more food. And so I found out that is why I think I could do the fasting. And I think I could easily now I could throw some fast in on that power phase.
Yeah.
Because I have the assistance of a natural GLP-1 that's making me full. I could eat in an 8-hour or 6-hour eating window and not even think twice about it, you know?
Right.
And so for me, that power phase would be more effective and I would naturally do those fasts instead of saying, oh my gosh, this is the next 10 days where I have to fast and I have to, you know, I think I could naturally do it now.
So what you're saying is, you know, because the question's out here being like, okay, well, you guys seem a little distracted now because now there's this thing called carnivore or in your keto coaches and you've been doing keto for 7+ years, not plus 7 years and 5 ish. And so what would you say to that? Well, the fact is that no, we're not distracted. This is something that we are able to do whatever, like all these other, the other researchers out there, like that is this whole foods. We are not against God created foods.
No,
not at all. What we are against is the preservative crap filled junk that the government and these other companies are filling in our grocery stores that are calling that healthy foods. Or like the Cheerios one gets me every single time. It is not going to lower your cholesterol unless that is all you eat.
Do you know how much money they made just to get that sticker on the box? They just paid to get that sticker on the box.
Oh my gosh. So false. There's false information out there. You can do your studies, see where it comes from, see where it's rooted from. Who made the cereal was a nutcase alone. He was a nutcase.
He was. Mr. Kellogg. He was a gross. I think he was a predator.
I think he was a predator trying to say, oh, I'm against this, but really enjoyed that.
Yes.
Disgusting. Anyway.
It was. I can't unsee that story that we read. I forget where we read it.
It's in Metabolical if you want to read it.
Yeah, Metabolical, that's where it was.
And it's also in some of these carnivore books if you want to read it.
Oh, yeah. So, no, we have not gotten distracted. And there's a path for everybody. So there are some people who are like, gosh, I'm just not carnivore. Y'all, we didn't go carnivore until 7 years into our journey.
Right.
We got healthy first.
Yes.
So if I were to say there's a starting point, it's keto.
Keto, yeah.
Starting point is definitely keto. And then you clean things up as you want to, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say we had those crazy people that jumped in the deep end of carnivore,
Yes.
and they're like, I'm drowning, I'm not feeling happy like you guys are, then that's when we tweak your tweak your journey. We had a couple of people post in group this week in the carnivore group about, hey, I'm just not, I need some help. We're going to help you tweak it into something that you do, because the only thing that's going to work for you is something that's going to work for you in your schedule.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do with our 150 friends tonight. We're going to help guide them into the right lane so that they continue to heal.
Yes.
So, and you may
Don't just
have missed
give
this
up.
carnivore group and say, hey, are you going to do this again? Absolutely. We're going to do this again. We will do this again. Next time it won't be a free group, but we will do it again. I didn't realize what we had done until after
you were really excited about it and just wanted everybody to experience it too. So it's fine.
We gave them full coaching, and
it was great.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I am worried though, because of what they had in this group and the people that are like, I can do this on my own. I'm worrying about their future. But you gotta let them know you can do it. We're gonna breathe life into you. We're gonna breathe
full faith in you.
Right. But yeah, we did the whole coaching experience with these folks.
I wanted to add, backing up, like rewinding a couple segment spots that we had with my mother-in-law. Yes. With her comment. Like I love the idea of being at peace with your weight. I think there's certain people that get into that, and I believe sitting in that space for a bit to be at peace. But I also think that's another great space for you to work a little bit more on detoxing your body, because we learned based on one of our groups that and that we have another amazing person that loves to do her research. And she was like, it was an eye opener for understanding that the fat loss that we have lost was the fat that we had built when our mothers were feeding us Crisco.
Yes, that's so true.
Like, so if you want to do a deep detox like that, that's when you are happy with your weight, you're good in a good space. That's when you do some hardcore, learning about the toxins in our body and releasing, doing the autophagy stuff, like releasing the old cells, the senescent cells, doing all of that stuff to renew, to even be even happier and healthier. Yes. So there's the only thing that you would be doing there would be adding years onto your life instead of subtracting years onto your life that we've done. So
you never hit your goal.
Never.
So we don't want you to sit there forever. We want you to learn more about your body. We want you to learn more about what works for you. Learn more about what makes you feel better. If you've got some aches and pains, we got to figure out what it is. You can totally. So I never want you to I want you to sit in the space for a while, but I don't want you to sit there forever, because a lot of people get into this space of, I've never been this weight before, and they bring down their bar of where they wanted to be just because, they realize I don't have to work so hard. And it's okay to sit there for a little bit but then we want you to kind of create this energy of, I can do more.
Yeah.
And it may not even be on the scale, but maybe I can find my abs. I think I found my abs. I really did. Have you ever done that? Like, yes. I think I'm finding them, because
I got an ab.
Everybody has abs. You have to uncover them. You have to take the body fat off of them to see them.
It's there.
I think I found one. I still have to uncover them. But I told my trainer that this morning. I told him, I said, I think I found one ab. So I'm excited. You never hit your goals.
No.
So that was our journey on carnivore. I hope you can feel our excitement a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not leaving keto. We are keto coaches. We are not leaving macros, because we understand what happens if you don't count your macros.
Yes.
We understand food addiction. We understand all of these spaces. It's just, we're excited about experimenting some more. What is this going to do?
We have tools.
Right.
We have a lot of tools in our tool belt, and we know when to use them and when not to use them.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you are questioning, hey, how do we get to where they are? We may have spaces open. We have had a lot of people from the carnivore say, hey, I need you one-on-one. So our schedule, I say that very loosely, because Because there's
We're
only
just not sure yet.
There's so many hours, only so many hours that we have in a day to do one-on-one coaching. And so those spaces fill up really, really quickly. And so I noticed a little bit of a crunch in my schedule. So I don't have as many one-on-one schedules open as Darcy does at this point. And so after the 150, graduate, and, we've had a lot of people secure their spot already and before it was even over. So yeah, message us, get on the schedule. We want to talk to you first. My fear is if they sign up for that space, they're going to lose the space. That's completely, totally up to you. And we have been, an active, thriving practice for 6 years now. And so we're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. You may have to wait a little bit to get on our schedule. That's okay. We're not going anywhere.
It's summertime. You're going to hear mowers. You're going to have kids. But we still take clients. So.
Tune in to the lives because we do as much live coaching as we can. So you could kind of hang out in that space for a while before you get on our calendar. So we love what we do. I was reminded last week as I was getting the measurement notices that were coming in saying, Monica, I just lost 4 inches. Scale hasn't moved much, but I've lost 4 inches. And I actually kind of lost my pants.
I'm still blown away from that.
Yeah. Yep. So crazy. So we love you guys. We are here every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a topic that you want us to cover. Oh, by the way, I have to do a little bit of an announcement.
Do I know this one?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You do.
Okay.
We release a podcast every Tuesday morning.
That's right.
This is the one that I have been dreading to go out into the public because we talk about our marriage. We talk about things that have happened when it comes to what happens with weight loss and in our marriages. So Darcy and I just we went raw and we talked about it all. And so request for our children not to listen to it. Request for my pastor not to listen to it. Is there anybody you don't want listening?
I don't care.
Because you didn't talk about the hard things.
No.
So there's a list of people I would not want to listen to this podcast, but it goes out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. where we talk about marriage and weight loss and how it has impacted us. And then next week is relationships and weight loss. So number one goal of KM Health Coaching is to be authentic. That is what I strive for. And that's what you're getting in tomorrow's podcast release. So if you have the courage, go over there.
Or the curiosity.
Our mother. We do not want our mother to come in.
She's fine. You can watch it, Mom.
No.
You can listen to it, Mom, not watch it.
That's the good thing is she doesn't know how.
Well, she'll probably do that when she's downstairs grooming. She'll just
I don't think she knows how to listen to a podcast.
I bet she does. You don't. She does too. I'll teach her.
Next week.
I'll teach her.
Oh gosh, you guys, we love you so much. We will be back here next Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay? Talk to you next week. Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great.